Okay, so when we basically we're done with our production. Whenever you're done with production, it's time for post-production. The program we use is Adobe Premiere, right? It's just like Photoshop and After Effects. It's part of the whole Adobe suite. If you look on your machines, you will see a small little purple icon that looks like this one, the purple PR. That should be on your desktop. When you double click it, you'll get a screen that looks like this. And basically what you have is recently opened projects. So when you guys come in on Friday, you'll have your Chase video listed right there on the top, and you can just click that to get back to work on it. But today, since we haven't really done anything yet, we need to start a new project. So step one, whenever you're doing a new project, is of course new project. That's easy enough.
Is that the title or is that a...
That's the button we click, right? This is called Editing Basics, if you want to title it something in your notes, right? So we open Premiere, we click New Project. Okay, this second screen here, the majority of this is nonsense, and we don't have to worry about it. What we do need to worry about is down here. Okay, the location and the name are very important to us. Okay, right now, if I were to hit OK to this, I'd be calling my project Untitled, which is a terrible, terrible name. You never want to call anything Untitled. And it would go into Period 3's folder, right? If my project goes into Period 3 folders, who knows what Period 3 is going to do to it, right? They might delete it, they might mess it all up, that'd be all bad. Okay? So we need to change this location, right? This is like the thing we do every single time. We always want to make sure that the location of our project is right where our footage is. So I'm going to hit Browse, and that's going to allow me to move around on the computer and tell it where I want to put it. We always go to the same place, Video Drive, Period 7. In this case, we're going to the Chase. So now that I'm inside the Chase folder, select. This is the folder I want to select. This is where I want to be, inside my Chase folder. And I'm going to call it something unique, right? You might call yours Miley Cyrus Chase. You might call yours Michael Jackson Chase. You might call it Scary Clown Chase. Whatever, Popeye's Chicken Chase, okay? So I'm going to call mine Chase Example. And this screen here you can ignore, right? So we hit OK to that, and now we will be into our editing. So if I go and look, right, if I hit my computer and I go to the video drive and go to my Period 7 folder inside the Chase, let's see here. Can I delete this one? Example Chase. Okay. What I have is I've got my Day 1, my Day 2 folders. Here's my Chase project. This purple icon is the project, and it's going to make some other folders. It's going to make some auto-save folders and some those are like working folders. You don't have to worry about those. Premiere needs those to work. But this little purple file is your project. Okay, that's what contains all the information about where the cuts are and what clips to use. Okay. So here we are in our program. So let's draw a little map. Okay, let's draw one big rectangle to be the screen. This upper box here, this is your library. Okay? Anything you want in your anything you want in your movie, which is footage, music, pictures, titles, sound effects, whatever, needs to live here. We need to make sure that that piece of media goes into the library. Everything will be listed there. Okay? After that, we've got this box here. This is our preview window. That is where we will be looking at the footage we shot with all the cut calls and the slate and the scene numbers and the take numbers and the action calls, right? That's going to be in the preview window. Okay, we're going to watch it. We're going to see which take is the good take, all that kind of good stuff. Once we select the correct take, and using the preview window, we're going to select the portion of the clip that we want, right, between the action and cut call. That is where this window, the program window, comes into play. This is where the good stuff lives. That is where you will watch your movie. This is where you will watch the final product. This is just for individual clips to choose which ones you want. This one, program shows you whatever is down here on your timeline. So basically this just plays in there. You'll see all your clips lined up in a row. And then this little window over here is the effects, and we're going to work on that on Friday. Okay, so those are our 5 windows. So the first thing we need to do when we get into the program, like I said, is to get that footage into the library. And there's a couple of ways we can do this, okay? The most basic way is we can click File and Import, right? Import to bring something in. So we click File, Import. And now it's asking me, what do you want to grab? So again, I would go to Video, period 7, The Chase. I can highlight day 1 and I can hit Import Folder. Then it would give me everything inside that folder. Or I could go inside the day 1 folder and I could grab an individual file. I could hold Control and get like 4 files. I can hit Control A and grab all the files. But your best bet is just to grab the entire folder, right? Click day 1, hit Import Folder. So now Premiere is working. It's grabbing each file, checking it out, doing its thing. There's probably like 20, 30 files there, so it's grabbing them all. So you see now in my library, I have the day 1 folder, right? And this little triangle here, this little triangle left. So I'm going to open that. I'm going to twirl that triangle down. Look what's inside the folder. Here's all my shots, right? They're in numerical order. So the one at the top should be the one we shot first, and the one at the bottom is the one we shot last. All right, we can close that up. You can also import just by double-clicking an empty space in the library. That brings up the import dialog. Right, go back to Chase. I can hit day 2. I can hit Import Folder. The other way you can do it, if you want, is if you're like looking through your computer files, like just using like my computer, like just a browser window. You can go to Video Drive. I can go to period 7. I can go to the Chase. I can go to day 2 and actually drag and drop it in. And that works really good, like for individual, like a song or something like that, or if you're just grabbing one piece, not instead of a folder, right? But you can drag and drop things in the library too. So that's 3 ways we can import footage in, right? File import, double-click method, double-click brings up your import dialog, or you can drag it and drop it in there. Okay, so now I've got my footage. I'm ready to start editing. So what we want to do is, I know sometimes we shoot out of order, but it really helps yourself to edit in order as much as you possibly can. In a project like this where we've got everything shot before we start editing, it's really easy to edit in order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my clips here in the day 1 folder, right? I've opened that up with the little triangle. And what I can do is I can double click on the little icon of this file, and it shows up here in my preview window. Or I can click and drag on the icon and drop it over there. I can do that. I like to double click because it's faster, and these guys did not do they did a good job on this one, right? There's the slate, here, no slate, no slate, no slate, there we go. So this is, you can see how much easier it is to figure out what shot you're on when each shot starts like that. Whereas these ones here, I have to click it, and I have to scrub through using the playhead to see what shot it is, right? And that just wastes time when you're going through 100 shots to have to click and go through each one like that, okay? So I'm going to start with the establishing shot, which is shot 2. Okay, so it's over here in my preview window, and I can grab this little yellow playhead, right? You can actually just click, and it'll jump right to where you click to, or you can kind of click and drag, and you can play it forward and backwards. I can click play right here, or if you hover over any button, it'll show you the keystroke. So you see it says play, stop, toggle, space. So if I hit spacebar, it'll play it.
Shot 2, take 1. Action.
Right? You might go through your various takes, figure out which is the best take.
And cut.
Right? Whatever, that one wasn't so good. Let's go to take 2. Here's take 2. Right? Okay, the guy runs through in this one. This is the good one. Okay? So let's play it.
Action.
Okay, he just said action. So I'm after my action call. This is the moment I want this scene to actually begin, right? We're in between the words action and cut, so this is good times. Okay, so what I want to do here, I've stopped my playhead at this moment, right? And right here at this moment is where I want to push in, I for in. So we want to set an in point. Okay, an in point is telling the computer, this is the moment at 8 seconds and 5 frames exactly, this is when I want to start using this clip. So I push I on the keyboard. When I push I, boom. You see the color change, right? Everything after that moment becomes green. Okay, so it's saying that that is good stuff. But we know that's not the case. We know that at the end of this, he's going to run through, and then we're going to hear a cut call.
Cut.
Okay, now, I can't stop here because I have the cut call. So I'm going to use my arrow keys to go back. I can go 1 frame at a time, left, left, I can go 1 frame at a time, I can go forward 1 frame at a time, right? So you see the numbers increasing, you see the little guy running, you can hear him saying cut. So I'm going to go right before the cut call, and I'm going to set out point. Right here, this is out point. So O for out. I and O are right next to each other on the keyboard, makes life really easy. I push O. You see that now it's taken out that little last bit of green that was here where the cut call lived. So I've told the computer I want everything after the in point, but before the out point. So all I have to do now is take my mouse, grab right here on the picture itself, on the actual image, click, drag, holding, take it down to video 1. You see it's a nice little piece, it's an actual hunk. When I drop it, okay, this right here, this is asking us, this clip does not match the sequence settings. Change the sequence to match the clip, because this sequence, it's expecting standard def footage, and we're giving it high def footage. So it's saying, this high def clip does not match the standard def sequence settings. Should I change the standard def to match high def? Yes, change. Please become high def. So always change. It'll only ask you this the first time, because it's wondering like what, because there's all different shapes and sizes of video. So Premiere's like, do you want it to be this shape and size? We say, yes, please change. Okay, and there we go. So now in my program monitor, when I hit play, it's just going to be the perfect part. It's only going to be between that in and out that we clicked, right? There's no more action call, there's no more cut call, it's just the piece we selected. See? Easy peasy. So now that I know that that's my good one, right, let's erase our board so we can see it doing a little bit easier now that we've marked it all up.
So what do they do about the width?
So that's something that we'll deal on another day. Right now what we're really doing is just focusing on what's called a rough cut. We only want to deal with timing and ins and outs. Once we get our movie built and the timing correct, then you want to go back and start tweaking individual things, right? We want to work big to small. What's more important, having a movie built or having one shot with no wind, right? So we want to work big to small. We want to get our rough cut finished, then go back and mess with other things. So here's shot 3.
Shot 3, take 1. Action.
Set my in,
Cut.
right? Make sure you don't get that cut call.
Cut.
So I'm going to roll it back. There we go, set my out. See, here's one, he didn't set a great, he said cut too soon. It's like, I have to get so precise to find the exact moment that Donnie's out of the shot and then hope he's not saying cut yet, right? This is why we want to give a little bit of a bleed, a little bit of a cushion. Give it a second before you call cut. Let's check shot, take 2 out. See if that's any better. Now, of course, then they mess it up. Okay, moving forward.
Action.
And my in.
Cut.
See, it's still pretty tight, but I think we'll be okay. Okay, so there's our out. Click, drag, drop it down. Okay, so now our movie is starting to take shape, right? This shot's going to end, and it's going to go right to the next shot. Okay, so let's see here. Let's find shot 4. Here it is. So now when you guys drag these things down, right, you notice that when I get the clips close to each other, they just kind of magnetize. They just kind of all of a sudden click, and there's these little white tick marks. That's telling you that I'm actually touching the previous clip. Sometimes if people aren't paying attention, they'll put them down and think they're touching, and then like when you roll your video back, you'll be watching your video and it's doing its thing, and then all of a sudden there's this black gap in the middle. I mean, sometimes it could be just a couple frames. It's really, really fast. So make sure that your clips are snapping together and grabbing each other. That way you know the right, or sometimes you'll have the red line in there, right? And it snaps to the red line, and you get just really fast little blink like that. Don't let that happen to you, okay? So we can modify things once they're on the timeline too, right? Obviously the goal would be to have perfect ins and outs every time, but that's probably not going to be the case. So let's say, you know what? I want this shot to live a little longer. I want to keep going because I set this way before the cut call. When I move my mouse to the end of the clip, you see it turns to a little red bracket. And what that's telling me is, you know what? You can click and hold this and pull this clip out and make it longer, right? And what the picture is showing you is it's showing you what the new last frame would be. So I can go all the way out. This is as long as this clip will get. We're going to back it off just a little bit. So I can make this shot longer, right? The camera guy kind of lost our actor. You know what? Maybe I do want to keep it short. So I'll click, drag, push it back to the left, and I'll push it until Matt's in the frame again, right about there, and this will be my out point. So that he runs, and then it just ends right here, right? I can do the same thing, I can do the front, right? I can click on this clip, pull it over a little bit, adjust the in point, we'll have the scene start right here, and then we'll slap it back on the end, and we'll have a little movie, right? There we go. So now we're making things happen. Let's see here, what's our next shot? Shot 5, just gonna run up. I'm just grabbing random takes, I have no idea if the takes I'm grabbing are bad or not. And the cut call is super quiet, whatever, there we go. So slap that on there. Now, you know what? We're going through and we're looking at this video and he's kind of standing still at the beginning of this clip, isn't he? He's not really running. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to trim that shot up. So what I can do is kind of trim it, right? Use my brackets, trim it up a little bit. But now I got this gap here. Do I really want to like grab all these files one at a time and move them? It takes a long, what if I had 90 files? That would not be fun, okay? So there's a couple ways we can do this. We can drag a box and move them as one nice hunk, click. Or the safer way, the way I like to do it, is you can click in this gap, so it's highlighted, hit delete on the keyboard. Slaps everything back over. Some people go the old-fashioned way, which is to right-click on it and hit ripple delete. That's fine too, right? Because you're going to have movies with 70, 80 shots in it, right? You don't want to be moving 70, 80 files, okay? So you can use your brackets to make shots shorter, to make shots longer. Same thing, front or back end. You can grab them, you can rearrange them, right? I could put this shot first and then this shot. I mean, the movie's out of order now, right? Now it's 5 and then 4, right? We can just slop them back, switch it up, go here, delete, right? It's all changeable, it's all movable. Your best friend is undo, right? Let's say I just completely butcher this thing and just slap everything all over the place and it's an absolute mess now, right? Do I really want to try and repair this? No, what I want to do is just make it never happen. So I can hit edit, undo, which is Control Z. So I'm really good, and I just hit Control Z and just basically fix all the mess ups I just made, right? If you mess something up, don't try to repair it, right? Like if you got in a car accident, would you rather pay to have the car repaired or just have the accident never happen? Right? Just undo the accident. Just undo it. I pressed Control Z so much when I was editing 8 hours a day for the Warriors one day. I was writing something down, I dropped my pen on the ground, and I tried to hit Control Z thinking the pen would come back to my hand. That's how like much I was editing. I was like, oh, I dropped my pen, Control Z, oh, life doesn't work that way. Like, so, that means you've been editing too long if you've done that. Okay, don't get into it that hard. Okay, so our goal today is to basically set our ins and outs and get our movie built. Get the timing as clean as possible. Okay, you don't have to go all the way from action to cut. You can set an out anywhere between there, right? For instance, this shot here, right, he gets out of the frame, right? I should set the out before that happens. I don't have to wait until the cut call. I can end the shot anywhere in between those words. Okay, same thing. With this shot, this is the one thing a lot of people have trouble with. Because you said action, and he's standing still. You can kind of see him go from a dead stop to begin. But he should be in continuous motion in every shot. So we can't just set that in point after the action call. We're going to have to go a little bit forward so he's already at full speed, and then we can begin the shot there. Okay, that way he's already at full speed when he's running. So you don't have to set your ins and outs right at action and cut. They can be anywhere between those two words. Okay? Make sure you don't have any gaps. Make sure the clips snap together so you don't have any black gaps. And the other way you can edit, this is kind of the old style of editing, like way back, like the 50s when they actually had pieces of film they would look through with light. And what they would do is they'd use a razor blade and you'd literally cut the piece of footage and tape it to the next shot. So there's a tool on here called the razor tool. It'll be a little easier to see when you guys are on your computer. The cut tool, it's a little razor blade icon. And when you use that, you see this is one clip here. I can actually click in the middle of it and it chops it into 2 pieces. So then I could like delete the back half of this clip, right? It makes it shorter. It's just as easy as doing this, right? But you can grab your razor tool and you can put cuts in things and delete things that way. If I just cut it and don't do anything, you're not going to see it in the program window. It's an invisible cut at that point. But that's useful for doing other things, like I could make one half of this black and white from one half color or things like that. So the razor tool is Still a handy tool, even though we're now into the non-linear computer age of editing and we're not actually cutting things with scissors anymore. And the undo feature is your best friend. I can't imagine editing with scissors or even videotape where you can't just undo things. Like I like to test something out, see if it works the way I like it, and then just undo it if I don't. So that's really helpful. So what I want you guys to do is get on your machines. We're going to start a new project. Make sure the name and location are good. I want you to edit the shots that you directed. Okay? That way everyone edits 4 shots. Okay? This is the time when you cannot be shy, right? I had kids in 3rd period. The one kid gets so into it, and I look and they've edited 10 shots, and the other kid's over here like, oh, I haven't edited yet. I'm like, well, this kid did 10. Like, and they're like, it's fun. I'm like, I know it's fun, but you need to make sure you get your reps, right? So that you get better at this, okay? So we want to try and get done with all 20 of our shots, timed out, perfect, no action calls, no cut calls, no slates, beautifully. We have 1 hour to do so. Ready, steady, go.